So the novel, Vigil Harbor, is set 10 years in the future. So obviously there are differences in the world that you're encountering. It's the world you recognize, but with a lot of the things that worry us now more worrisome than they are at this moment in time. I mean, it's no secret that, and especially because I'm going to be coming to the Newburyport Festival, but here everybody will recognize that it's the North Shore and probably that it's Marblehead, like Newburyport. It's also a pretty affluent town, so people tend to feel somewhat immune. And we feel sort of smug, right? We feel like, well, yeah, we get these bad nor'easters in winter, we get these big blizzards, but we're sitting pretty, and we aren't really. COVID, it only enhanced this, the futuristic quality of the book I was already writing. What happened is I set it aside. I wrote another novel, A House Among the Trees, and that book came out in 2017, and I was making the decision of whether or not to go back to the unfinished novel. And that was when President Trump took us out of the Paris Climate Accord. And I just could not believe that. I mean, everybody had said that's what he's going to do, but there's a part of you that just says no, that nobody's going to do that. I wanted to write a book set slightly in the future to amp up some of the very real sources of anxiety we have about the future, the near future, not just the far future. And climate change became, I suppose, the most important issue in the novel in a way that it would not have been had I written the book when I started it. So right now, if you're a climate scientist or someone who is an activist, trying to get energy policies and other policies in place to address this, what if you decided that your only resort was violence? And this, after all, is how activists become terrorists. I began to understand that. And that's how there is a vein of plot that runs through this book that is quite violent, and that I probably would not have conceived of if I'd written the book in 2014 and 2015. The violence of January 6th took place after I turned in a full draft of the book. So, that's when something like that happens and you've just written a book that you wonder if people are going to consider it plausible. And then you think, of course they're going to consider it plausible because look at this. Mike, who's a main character in the book, is a marine biologist studying the changing salt marshes. And that was the result of my going to a really wonderful lecture given by the trustees of reservations. And I said to someone, one of the characters in my book is a really depressed marine biologist. And he said to me, what marine biologist wouldn't be really depressed right now? Oh, well, good, point taken. So the most fun character to write was Margot, the opinionated, firebrand of a, retired high school English teacher. I love the idea of the teacher that all the parents want their children to have, and that the children dread having, the one that makes you, deliver Shakespeare's soliloquies, the one. But she's a ball buster. I mean, and her husband leaves her, and she is out for revenge. So, because of her love of literature, I saw her as, in some ways, kind of a soulmate to me. And every time I could write in Margot's voice, it felt like eating a chocolate sundae.